just like to make the point that we're very fortunate that His Majesty has allowed us to use Buckingham Palace for this event.
One gesture, one moment, and everything they thought they knew about the monarchy's future just changed. By the time this video ends, you'll understand exactly why Princess Anne's final public act may have just reshaped the royal family forever, and why Catherine's role is about to become more important than anyone expected. Before we go any further, hit subscribe, because this story is only just beginning. After decades of unwavering duty, loyalty, and service to the crown, Princess Anne is once again at the center of extraordinary royal attention. Reports surrounding what some describe as her final major public role have sparked intense speculation, especially as Catherine's future within the monarchy takes on even greater significance. Could this symbolic moment mark the beginning of a new chapter for the royal family? Or is there far more unfolding behind palace walls? So, what does this moment truly signal for Catherine's future leadership? Let me know in the comments, because this is one of those moments where everyone has an opinion. Reports began spreading almost immediately after Princess Anne appeared at Windsor Castle for what many observers described as her final major public responsibility. There had been no lengthy announcement, no dramatic countdown, no clear indication that anything unusual was about to happen. Yet within moments, attention shifted from routine royal expectations to a symbolic act that sparked widespread discussion across Britain and beyond. Standing before Catherine, Princess of Wales, Anne appeared to offer a public gesture many interpreted as an endorsement of Catherine's future role within the royal family. Although it carried no constitutional authority and changed nothing about the line of succession, its emotional significance quickly became impossible to ignore. Catherine's expression reflected both surprise and the weight of the moment. Prince William watched quietly, his reaction suggesting he understood the importance of what was unfolding. The atmosphere felt unusually solemn, encouraging immediate speculation about why Anne had chosen this occasion for such a meaningful display. Royal commentators soon debated whether the gesture represented nothing more than respect between two senior women, or whether it quietly acknowledged Catherine's growing position as the family's most trusted public figure. Others urged caution, noting that symbolism often carries different meanings depending on who is watching. Even so, the conversation intensified because Princess Anne has long been regarded as one of the monarchy's most dedicated and dependable members, someone whose actions rarely invite unnecessary attention. That reputation made every movement appear deliberate, prompting questions about whether this was intended as a personal farewell, a statement about continuity, or a subtle expression of confidence in the next generation. Catherine's visible emotion only deepened public curiosity. Rather than celebrating triumph, she appeared conscious of the responsibility that many believed Anne was recognizing. The moment seemed less like a reward than an acknowledgement of years spent carrying increasing expectations through public service, charitable work, and difficult periods for the monarchy. William remained close beside her, offering quiet support without drawing attention away from Anne, whose presence continued to dominate the occasion. Across newspapers, television broadcasts, and online discussions, competing interpretations quickly emerged. Some viewed the event as a reassuring sign that experienced members of the royal family were preparing for the future through trust and cooperation. Others questioned whether the symbolism might unintentionally create misunderstandings about leadership inside the monarchy. Officially, no constitutional transition had taken place, and King Charles III remained the reigning monarch. Nevertheless, many believed the ceremony reflected something different, an emotional recognition of Catherine's ability to unite people during uncertain times. Whether that impression matched Anne's intentions remained open to debate, but the images from Windsor ensured that questions would continue long after the ceremony ended, leaving many wondering whether this quiet moment marked the beginning of a remarkable new chapter for the modern royal family. But here's what nobody is talking about, and it changes everything. Why would Anne risk placing Catherine above every expected royal figure unless deeper convictions guided her? What unseen moment convinced her completely? Could one quiet decision reshape the monarchy's future forever, or expose hidden fractures no one anticipated until everything changed before everyone's eyes? Let's find out. As the first wave of surprise began to settle, a far more important question quickly emerged. Why had Princess Anne appeared to place such visible confidence in Catherine, Princess of Wales, instead of any other senior member of the royal family? The answer seemed to reach far beyond titles, rank, or tradition. Those who had closely followed the monarchy understood that Anne rarely acted on emotion alone. Her reputation had been built over decades of discipline, careful judgment, and unwavering dedication to duty. If she chose to make such a meaningful public gesture, many believed it reflected years of quiet observation rather than a single decision made in the moment. Catherine's journey into royal life had never been easy. From the beginning, she faced constant public attention, intense media scrutiny, and expectations that would have overwhelmed many others. Instead of responding with dramatic statements or public complaints, she gradually built a reputation for patience, consistency, and calm under pressure. She focused on her responsibilities, supported charitable causes, and slowly earned respect through actions rather than words. That steady approach did not attract the loudest headlines, but it gradually strengthened public confidence in her role. Anne had witnessed that transformation firsthand. Throughout countless royal engagements, family gatherings, and official events, she watched Catherine grow into someone capable of handling enormous pressure without seeking personal recognition. Rather than competing for attention, Catherine often allowed others to take the spotlight while quietly ensuring that difficult situations remained under control. Many royal observers believed this understated style closely reflected Anne's own lifelong approach to public service. The connection between Catherine and Prince William also strengthened that impression. Together, they consistently presented themselves as a united partnership, balancing royal responsibilities with family life while preparing for the future role they would eventually inherit. Anne, who understood the demands placed upon future monarchs better than almost anyone, likely appreciated the importance of stability within that partnership. It was not simply Catherine standing alone. It was the strength of their shared commitment that appeared increasingly valuable during periods of uncertainty. Still, not everyone interpreted Anne's gesture in the same way. Some questioned whether public admiration alone should influence perceptions of leadership inside such an ancient institution. Others argued that emotional trust and constitutional authority should never be confused. Those concerns only fueled wider discussion as commentators debated whether Anne intended to send a broader message about the qualities most needed to guide the royal family through changing times. Yet supporters pointed to Catherine's record rather than speculation. They highlighted years of reliable public service, measured responses during difficult moments, and a growing ability to connect naturally with people across generations. From their perspective, respect had not been handed to Catherine because of position. It had been earned slowly through consistency, resilience, and quiet determination. Whether Anne intended her symbolic gesture to carry that exact meaning remained uncertain. Even so, the growing belief that Catherine represented trust built over time, rather than authority granted overnight, added another powerful layer to a story that was becoming far larger than one remarkable public appearance alone. Across the palace, Every reaction carried its own hidden meaning, leaving an even greater mystery behind. Who embraced Anne's gesture without hesitation? Who quietly questioned its consequences? Could one symbolic moment reshape long-standing royal expectations forever? Stay tuned. The symbolic moment involving Princess Anne and Catherine did not end when the public ceremony concluded. Instead, it opened a new chapter filled with questions about how the gesture might be viewed inside the royal family itself. While cameras captured the visible expressions of those present, the wider meaning of the occasion quickly became the subject of public discussion. Observers began comparing every appearance, every statement, and every official response, searching for clues about what Anne's decision might represent for the monarchy's future. At the center of those conversations stood King Charles III. As the reigning monarch, his constitutional position remained completely unchanged. Yet many wondered how he viewed the growing attention surrounding Catherine. Some commentators suggested he could see Anne's gesture as a reassuring display of continuity, highlighting the strength of the next generation without challenging his own authority. Others believed the increased focus on Catherine might create expectations that would require careful management. No official indication suggested disagreement, but differing interpretations continued to fuel debate. Prince William appeared to offer the clearest public message. Throughout the event, his attention remained firmly on Catherine, reflecting the partnership that has defined much of their public life together. Rather than stepping forward himself, he seemed content to support the moment from beside her. Many royal watchers interpreted that quiet approach as evidence that he understood both the honor and the responsibility connected with Anne's symbolic endorsement. His measured reaction reinforced the impression of unity rather than competition. Queen Camilla's position attracted equal attention, though for different reasons. As someone who holds a senior role within the royal family, some question how Anne's public recognition of Catherine might be perceived alongside existing responsibilities. Others argued that the two positions served entirely different purposes and should not be compared. Officially, nothing suggested a transfer of authority. Yet, the symbolism encouraged contrasting opinions about how different members of the family contribute to the institution's stability. Beyond the most familiar figures, attention also turned toward other senior royals. Although no public disagreements emerged, commentators acknowledged that symbolic moments often generate private reflection throughout long-established institutions. Different generations naturally bring different expectations, and many wondered whether Anne's gesture signaled a broader recognition that Catherine had become an increasingly trusted presence during challenging years for the monarchy. Public enthusiasm only intensified those questions. Many people praised the display as a heartfelt acknowledgement of dedication, while others urged caution against reading too much into a single ceremonial act. The contrast between public excitement and the limited official explanation created a space where interpretation flourished. Every photograph, every expression, and every carefully chosen word became part of a larger conversation about trust, continuity, and the future direction of the royal family. Whether Anne intended to spark such widespread debate remained uncertain. Yet the differing reactions surrounding Charles, William, Camilla, and the wider family suggested that the ceremony's greatest impact might not lie in what was seen publicly, but in how its symbolism continued shaping perceptions long after the applause had faded, leaving the monarchy facing deeper questions than many first realized. Anne's lifetime of unwavering service shaped this extraordinary moment. What unseen decision finally convinced her? Who recognized its deeper meaning first? And why did whispers inside the palace suddenly grow impossible to ignore? Stay with us. To understand why Princess Anne's symbolic endorsement carried such extraordinary weight, it was necessary to look far beyond a single public appearance. Her influence inside the royal family was never built on dramatic speeches, personal publicity, or constant media attention. Instead, it grew steadily through decades of dependable service, quiet determination, and an unwavering commitment to duty. Long before questions arose about Catherine's future role, Anne had earned a reputation as one of the monarchy's hardest-working members, placing responsibility ahead of personal recognition. That history gave every gesture she made far greater significance than many outsiders first realized. Throughout her public life, Anne consistently accepted demanding responsibilities without seeking applause. While other royal events often attracted worldwide headlines, she became known for carrying out engagements with remarkable consistency, believing that service mattered more than popularity. That approach reflected values deeply associated with Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign emphasized stability, discipline, and commitment, even during periods of uncertainty. Many observers believed Anne inherited those principles naturally, turning them into a lifelong standard rather than simply a public image. Years of dependable work strengthened her credibility within royal circles and beyond. She represented the crown across countless charities, organizations, and official visits, building respect through reliability instead of spectacle. Those who worked alongside her frequently described her as practical, direct, and focused on getting the job done rather than seeking attention. Over time, that steady record became one of her greatest strengths. When Anne expressed confidence in someone, people paid attention, because her judgment appeared rooted in experience rather than personal preference. That background also shaped how many interpreted her symbolic support for Catherine. It was not viewed merely as a warm personal gesture between two women. Instead, it appeared to reflect the opinion of someone who had spent decades observing the pressures, sacrifices, and responsibilities that accompany royal life. Anne understood better than most that public appearances reveal only a small part of the work required behind palace walls. Her approval, therefore, seemed meaningful precisely because it came from someone who had quietly carried similar burdens for much of her life. The influence of Queen Elizabeth's example remained impossible to ignore. Anne spent much of her life watching her mother navigate national crises, family challenges, and changing public expectations while maintaining the continuity of the monarchy. Those experiences likely shaped her understanding of leadership as something measured through resilience rather than popularity. Supporters believe she recognized similar qualities developing in Catherine over recent years, especially during periods when calm and consistency became increasingly important. Critics, however, cautioned against reading too much into symbolism, arguing that public perception can sometimes create meanings never officially intended. Even so, few questioned Anne's standing, or the respect she had earned through decades of loyal service. Whether viewed as a personal expression of confidence or a broader acknowledgement of Catherine's growing role, Anne's remarkable legacy ensured that her actions resonated far beyond the ceremony itself. That lasting reputation transformed one symbolic moment into a powerful chapter within a much larger story still unfolding before the public. As expectations intensify around Catherine, what private concerns remain hidden behind her composed public image? Can she protect her family while carrying the weight of royal stability? And why are insiders suddenly questioning whether Anne's gesture revealed far more than anyone initially understood about the monarchy? Keep watching. As public discussion surrounding Princess Anne's symbolic gesture continued to grow, attention quickly shifted toward Catherine. The moment had sparked admiration across many quarters, but it also placed an enormous weight on her shoulders. For many observers, Anne's visible show of confidence suggested more than personal respect. It appeared to recognize Catherine as someone increasingly trusted to help guide the royal family through a changing era. Whether that interpretation reflected Anne's exact intention remained open to debate. Yet the growing expectations surrounding Catherine became impossible to ignore. Every future appearance, every public speech, and every decision suddenly seemed likely to be examined through a different lens. Catherine had spent years earning respect through consistency rather than dramatic headlines. She became known for approaching royal duties with patience, careful preparation, and genuine interest in the causes she supported. That steady approach gradually strengthened public confidence, but it also raised expectations. Supporters began viewing her as an important source of stability during periods when the monarchy faced intense public attention and changing social expectations. As confidence in her increased, so did the pressure to meet standards that seemed to rise after every successful engagement. Balancing those responsibilities was never a simple task. Beyond official ceremonies and charitable work, Catherine remained a wife to Prince William and a mother raising 3 young children. Many people admired her ability to move between public service and private family life with remarkable composure. Yet that balance required constant adjustment, especially as scrutiny followed nearly every aspect of her schedule. Even ordinary family moments often attracted widespread attention, making privacy increasingly difficult to protect. The belief that Catherine would one day become queen added another layer of responsibility. Although that future role remains tied to the established line of succession and lies ahead, public interest often treats present actions as preparation for tomorrow's challenges. Every appearance alongside William is viewed by many as another step toward that future. Anne's symbolic endorsement appeared to reinforce those perceptions, encouraging fresh discussion about Catherine's growing importance within the institution. At the same time, not everyone welcomed those conclusions. Some commentators argued that expectations were becoming unrealistic, warning against placing excessive symbolic meaning on one public gesture. Others questioned whether public enthusiasm risked creating pressures that no individual could reasonably satisfy. Those differing opinions reflected a wider debate about how modern royal figures should be judged, and whether emotional leadership can become as influential as formal authority. Through it all, Catherine continued presenting the calm public image that had become one of her defining qualities. Rather than responding directly to speculation, she allowed her work and public service to speak for themselves. That measured approach strengthened the impression that she understood both the privilege and the responsibility attached to public trust. Even so, the symbolic moment involving Princess Anne ensured that every future step would be watched more closely than before. The gesture had elevated expectations without changing constitutional reality, leaving Catherine at the center of a conversation that extended well beyond ceremony and into the uncertain future of the monarchy itself, where every decision could shape public confidence for years ahead. Why did one symbolic gesture ignite such powerful reactions across royal circles? Were commentators uncovering hidden meaning or overlooking something far more significant? Could public perception itself reshape the monarchy's future? What unseen development is waiting just beyond the headlines? As images of Princess Anne's gesture spread across newspapers, television screens, and social media, the discussion quickly moved far beyond the walls of Windsor Castle. The ceremony itself had lasted only a short time, yet its meaning became the subject of intense debate. Without any official declaration describing it as a constitutional change, people were left to interpret the moment for themselves. That uncertainty created a wave of competing opinions, with every observer attempting to explain what Anne intended and why the gesture had attracted such extraordinary attention. Royal commentators were among the first to offer their views. Some described the occasion as a powerful expression of confidence from one of the monarchy's most respected figures. They argued that Anne's decades of dedicated service gave unusual significance to any public endorsement she chose to make. Others urged restraint, reminding audiences that symbols often carry emotional value without altering the formal structure of the royal family. They emphasized that King Charles III remained the reigning monarch, and that no official responsibilities had changed because of the ceremony alone. Even with those reminders, public curiosity continued growing. Newspapers highlighted different aspects of the event, with some focusing on Catherine's emotional reaction, while others concentrated on Anne's reputation for careful judgment. Television panels debated whether the gesture reflected the monarchy's gradual transition toward a younger generation or simply recognized Catherine's growing popularity. Online discussions expanded even further, with supporters praising the apparent display of trust, while skeptics questioned whether the public was reading too much into a single symbolic act. The contrast between symbolism and authority soon became the central issue. Many viewers understood that ceremonial moments have always played an important role in royal history, often communicating values that formal documents cannot express. Others insisted that emotional interpretation should never be confused with constitutional reality. That difference shaped nearly every conversation, creating a clear divide between those who saw Anne's gesture as historically meaningful and those who regarded it as respectful but limited in practical importance. In the silence, every photograph seemed to carry hidden meaning. Every facial expression attracted closer examination, and every public appearance afterward invited fresh analysis. Some believed Anne intended to reassure the public about the monarchy's future by visibly supporting Catherine. Others suggested the ceremony represented a deeply personal acknowledgement between two women who shared an understanding of royal duty. Neither interpretation could be confirmed, leaving room for continued debate without producing clear answers. Yet one fact became increasingly difficult to dismiss. Perception carries remarkable influence within public life, especially where the royal family is concerned. Even when no formal authority changes hands, the way people interpret a symbolic moment can shape confidence, expectations, and public conversation for months or even years. Princess Anne's gesture had become more than a brief ceremony. It had evolved into a national discussion about trust, leadership, and the qualities people believe matter most during times of change. As those debates continued, one question remained unresolved, ensuring the story was far from reaching its conclusion. If this moment signals the monarchy's future, what unseen decision changed everything? Why did Anne's gesture resonate so deeply across royal circles, and who quietly understood its meaning before anyone else? Stay with us. As the debate surrounding Princess Anne's symbolic gesture continued, the conversation gradually expanded beyond one remarkable ceremony. Attention shifted toward a much larger question about the future of the royal family. How does one generation prepare the next without disrupting the stability that has long defined the monarchy? Although no constitutional changes had taken place, many people believed the event reflected something deeper. It appeared to acknowledge that the institution was steadily entering a new chapter, with Catherine becoming an increasingly important figure within that transition. King Charles III remained firmly at the center of the monarchy. His reign continued under the established constitutional framework, and nothing about Anne's public gesture altered his authority or responsibilities. Even so, royal institutions have always relied on continuity as much as leadership. While the monarch represents the crown, the wider royal family helps maintain public confidence through service, visibility, and stability. That broader responsibility naturally encourages attention toward the generation expected to carry the institution forward in the years ahead. Prince William and Catherine have occupied that position for some time. Their public duties have steadily expanded, reflecting growing expectations that they will eventually lead the monarchy into its next era. Over the years, they have represented the crown at major national and international events, while continuing charitable work across a wide range of causes. Supporters often point to their partnership as one of the institution's strongest assets, believing it combines experience with a modern understanding of public engagement. Anne's symbolic endorsement appeared to reinforce that perception rather than create it. Instead of announcing something entirely new, Catherine's increasing visibility, her measured approach to public life, and her ability to connect with people from different backgrounds had gradually strengthened confidence in her future role. Anne's actions therefore appeared to some as a quiet acknowledgement of qualities that had developed over many years through consistent public service. Others, however, urged caution against placing too much emphasis on symbolism. They argued that every generation of the royal family experiences moments when attention naturally shifts toward younger members, without suggesting immediate changes in leadership. From that perspective, Anne's gesture could simply reflect personal admiration rather than any broader institutional message. That difference in interpretation kept the discussion alive, encouraging people to consider how tradition and public perception often intersect without producing clear conclusions. Despite those differing opinions, one reality became increasingly clear. Public confidence remains essential to the monarchy's long-term stability, and trust cannot be created overnight. It develops gradually through years of visible commitment, dependable service, and the ability to remain steady during difficult moments. Many believed Catherine had spent years building exactly that reputation, making Anne's symbolic recognition feel understandable even to those who viewed it cautiously. Whether history ultimately remembers the ceremony as a defining milestone or simply an unforgettable expression of respect, it undeniably highlighted the monarchy's gradual evolution. The institution appeared to be balancing tradition with renewal, honoring established leadership while quietly preparing for the responsibilities that future generations will eventually inherit. Ensuring that continuity remains its greatest enduring strength for generations ahead. Did this symbolic moment unsettle so many within royal circles? What unseen message did Anne leave behind? Could one quiet gesture reshape perceptions for generations? The answers lie in a development few anticipated, and its consequences reach far beyond ceremony itself, meaning hidden within royal traditions. As the discussions surrounding Princess Anne continued to spread, many people began asking a different question. Why did one brief ceremonial moment generate such lasting attention when it changed nothing about the constitutional structure of the monarchy? The answer appeared to lie in the unique role that symbolism has always played within royal history. Long before official announcements or legal documents shaped public understanding, carefully chosen gestures often carried messages about continuity, confidence, and shared values. Anne's public recognition of Catherine therefore became significant, not because it altered authority, but because it encouraged people to consider what the moment represented. Throughout British royal history, ceremonies have frequently expressed ideas that cannot easily be explained through formal statements alone. A simple appearance, a carefully chosen position during an event, or a meaningful exchange between senior royals has often influenced public perception far beyond the occasion itself. Those traditions remind observers that the monarchy depends not only on constitutional authority, but also on public confidence. Symbols help strengthen that relationship by communicating stability during periods of uncertainty. Many commentators viewed Anne's gesture through exactly that historical perspective. They argued that her action reflected confidence in Catherine's growing contribution to the institution, rather than any transfer of official power. Others remained more cautious, insisting that symbolism should never be mistaken for constitutional change. They emphasized that King Charles III remained the reigning monarch, while Prince William continued as the direct heir to the throne. From that viewpoint, Anne's gesture represented respect and encouragement instead of institutional transformation. Even so, the emotional impact proved difficult to dismiss. Catherine's visible response suggested she understood the importance many people attached to the occasion. Anne's reputation for thoughtful judgment made the moment feel especially meaningful, because she has spent decades placing service before personal attention. Her public life has rarely been defined by dramatic displays, making this symbolic act appear deliberate rather than spontaneous. That perception encouraged many observers to believe the gesture carried a message about responsibility, trust, and the future direction of the royal family. Public reaction reinforced those impressions. Supporters described the ceremony as a moving expression of continuity between generations, while critics questioned whether emotional interpretation had begun overshadowing constitutional reality. The debate itself demonstrated the enduring influence of royal symbolism. Even without changing laws, titles, or succession, one carefully observed moment succeeded in shaping national conversation and encouraging fresh reflection about the monarchy's future. Princess Anne's farewell also became part of that discussion. For many people, the gesture represented not simply recognition of Catherine, but a fitting reflection of Anne's own lifelong approach to public duty. After decades of dependable service, her actions carried unusual credibility because they reflected experience earned over many years rather than temporary popularity. Whether viewed as a quiet endorsement or an emotional farewell, the symbolism extended far beyond the ceremony itself. It reminded the public that lasting influence is not always measured through official authority. Sometimes the most memorable moments emerge through trust, example, and carefully chosen actions, leaving an impression that continues shaping conversations long after formal events have ended and the cameras have gone. While the deeper meaning continues, inviting thoughtful reflection across generations. What quiet promise remained unspoken after Anne's final public gesture? Could Catherine's greatest challenge begin only after the applause faded? And why did those closest to the crown suddenly view one private moment as the monarchy's most revealing turning point yet? Keep watching. The ceremony itself had ended, yet the questions it raised continued to shape discussion about the future of the royal family. Rather than focusing only on one emotional moment, many people began considering what Anne's actions might represent over the years ahead. The gesture seemed to reflect confidence in continuity rather than dramatic change, suggesting that lasting stability often depends on preparing future generations long before responsibility officially changes hands. Princess Anne's remarkable career provided the foundation for that interpretation. Throughout decades of public service, she earned widespread respect through discipline, consistency, and an unwavering commitment to duty. She rarely sought attention for herself, allowing her work to define her reputation instead. That lifelong example made her symbolic support for Catherine especially meaningful. For many observers, it felt less like the end of Anne's influence, and more like the passing forward of values she had spent years demonstrating through quiet leadership and dependable service. Catherine now found herself carrying greater public expectations than ever before. Although her constitutional role remained unchanged, many people believed Anne's gesture acknowledged Catherine's growing ability to unite, reassure, and represent the family during an important period of transition. The recognition brought admiration, but it also carried responsibility. Public trust can take years to build and only moments to weaken, making every future appearance increasingly significant. Catherine's calm approach suggested she understood the weight of those expectations without attempting to draw attention to herself. Prince William remained an essential part of that picture. His consistent support reinforced the image of partnership that has become central to public confidence in their future. Rather than competing for attention, William appeared committed to standing beside Catherine as they prepared for the responsibilities that eventually await them. Together, they represented continuity built on cooperation rather than individual ambition. A message many believed strengthened confidence in the monarchy's long-term future. At the same time, King Charles III continued carrying the constitutional responsibilities of the crown. Nothing about Anne's symbolic gesture altered his reign or reduced his authority. Instead, the moment highlighted how different generations can contribute to the institution at the same time. While Charles leads the monarchy today, attention naturally extends toward those expected to guide it in years to come. That balance between present leadership and future preparation has long been part of the monarchy's enduring character. Even after the ceremony ended, differing interpretations remained. Some viewed Anne's gesture as one of the defining symbolic moments of the modern monarchy, while others believed it should simply be understood as a personal expression of respect and encouragement. Yet almost everyone agreed on one point. Princess Anne's greatest legacy was never a title or a ceremony. It was the trust she earned through decades of faithful service. By appearing to place confidence in Catherine, she reminded the public that leadership is measured not only by position, but by character, resilience, and commitment. Whether history ultimately views that moment as symbolic or transformative, it ensured that Anne's influence would continue shaping the monarchy through the values she inspired in those expected to carry its future forward. So what do you think? Did Princess Anne's symbolic gesture truly signal Catherine's future leadership, or was it simply a heartfelt tribute? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, hit like, because stories like this don't stay buried for long. But what happened next involves someone we haven't even talked about yet, and that story is even more surprising. Subscribe so you don't miss it.